Okay, so we have studied about the trading on equity, is it not? Previously we studied about the trading on equity, and we were discussing about the capital structure. The next topic that we have to study is about the factors affecting the choice of a capital structure. Okay, so what sort of a capital structure we need to have, and how we will make a decision regarding the choice of the capital structure, which type of capital structure is there. So we studied that capital structure means that inclusion of both the equity share capital and debt capital, is it no? So there are different type of capital is available. Most commonly one is equity share capital, then preference shares are there, debentures are there, bank loan is there, all these type of sources are there. Okay. So in that we can both as a total we can divide it into two categories, that is debt capital and equity capital. Okay, so equity capital is from the point of view of a company, it is less risky, and debt capital is more risky. Less risky because we need not to pay a fixed amount of return to them, isn't it? So there is no any return to the equity share capital is not a fixed one. But debt capital is that like we have to pay even if the company is having profit or not having profit, but the company has to pay the amount, isn't it? So and they can even file a case against the company if the company has not paid the sufficient amount of money, and it can even if the company is not in a situation to pay the money, then it can even close the company. Okay, so the risk level is very much high from the point of view of a company for the debt capital. Okay, so now we will study about whether how much amount of debt capital can be taken, or how much proportion has to be there. Okay, so it should be like a 50-50 or 60-40, or what ratio they should keep the equity share capital and this debt capital. Okay, so we will study, there are different things that we have to study about that. First one is called the cash flow position. While making a choice of the capital structure, the future of cash flow position should be kept in mind. Debt capital should be used only if the cash flow position is really good. So first we have to understand the cash flow position. In the future, company, what will be the cash flow position of the company? How much amount of input will be there? How much amount of output will be there? Like how much money that we will be getting and how much expenditures we will be having. So we can understand how much balance money will be there with us, isn't it? So if we if our cash flow position is good, then we can have more equity share capital, more debt capital, because we need to pay money. Like interest has to be paid, then debentures are there, then their interest has to be paid. So this is like a burden. So if our cash flow position is good, if we are having good returns, then we can use more amount of debt capital. But if our cash flow position is not good, then it is not good to use the debt capital, because like a bank interest is there. So we have to pay interest timely basis. Like imagine that's like if you are making a building or a house, just imagine. So if people they say that you take loan and make building, isn't it? So but making building by or your house by taking loan is a very big foolishness, we can say, because like we spend money on the house that we are making, but we are not getting any income out of that, isn't it? So if you make a house for some 50 lakh rupees, and if you make it and just you are living there, you can say that I am living in a 50 lakh rupees house, but there is no income, single rupee income is also not there, and only expenditure is there. Every year you have to maintain the building, we have to paint it. If after some time we may have to paint it, some other additional expenditures will be there. Every year expense will be increasing only. There is no any income from there. Okay. So if we are using, so if we are in a higher position, good position, like if we are having good salary, fixed income is there, a person who is having a fixed income, such type of a person, like salaried person, that is why they mostly ask, if you are asking for the loan, they ask the salary certificate first. If you are a government employee, then they are ready to give loan. Why? Because they know that the job is secured and there is a fixed rate of return will be there. Like it's like if coronavirus is there or if such a problem is there, most of the private people, those who are working in the private companies, they lost their job. And if other people, even if they like us, we are there, so even if the people they did not lose the job, but their salary, there is a decrease in the salary. Some are getting 50%, some are getting 25% like that. You know. But government employees, they are not going to affect it. You know. So they are getting, if coronavirus is there, they don't have any job, they are sitting at home, but like government teachers are there, or their school is closed, college is closed, but they get a salary. You know. So they get not a single rupee, loss will not be there. So if they are taken a bank loan, they can pay the bank loan. You know. But if we are like that there, so if we are not getting salary, we don't have any other income, there is no any source, so we cannot pay the interest or we cannot pay the loan repayment, and such a way it will become a big burden. Do you understand? So in the same way, if a company is in a good position, like the income of the company is very good in position, cash flow position is good, then company can take more loans. Okay, more debt capital can be there. But if the company's position is not good, if the company is not getting regular income is not there, and whether we will get income or not getting, that we don't know. In such a cases, it is better not to take a much amount of debt capital. Okay. Then there are some ratios which we can find out how much amount of equity and debt capital can be there. So there are few ratios given there. So let us study. First one is the interest coverage ratio. Okay, ICR. So interest coverage ratio. You need not to study much about these ratios. You just have to study this formula. So how to calculate this one and what is the use of this one. Okay, ICR. What is it and how it is calculated. There is like problem based questions and all are not there. Only thing is that what is ICR and why it is used. Okay. With the help of this ratio, an effort is made to find out how many times the EBIT is available to the payment of interest. The capacity of the company to use debt capital will be direct proportion to this ratio. This ratio can be found out by using the formula ICR is equal to EBIT. EBIT means what? Interest, so earnings before interest and taxes. Okay, so the earning of a company, just like the income that they are getting before paying interest and taxes, that is called EBIT. Okay, earnings before interest and taxes. Okay, so the company will calculate, see like the profit, we cannot say that this is profit. Okay, so the profit can be calculated when we are deducting interest and taxes. After deducting interest and taxes, we can say this is a gross profit. After deducting interest and tax, what we get is called as a net profit. Okay, so here EBIT can be called as a gross profit. Okay, the total amount of profit that the company is made. So out of that, additional expenditures has to be paid. So EBIT divided by interest. So in this way we will be able to calculate. So when we can say like a total, if the company, what is the situation of the company, how much amount of income is there, like imagine that 2 lakh rupees income is there. Okay, and 1 lakh rupees we have to pay interest. So 2 by 1 we will get 2. So means that 2 times interest we can pay. Do you understand? So that is the meaning of this one. If the 3 lakh rupees interest is there, 3 lakh rupees EBIT is there, and 1 lakh rupees interest we have to pay, then 3 by 1, it means 3 times we have to pay. Means the money is sufficient for paying 3 times interest. Do you understand? But that doesn't mean that we can take 3 times this one loan. Means this one will be there. It's like if that much income is not there, then so out of that we will be calculating, means up to this much amount we can take debt. Okay, so that will be there. It is possible that in spite of a better ICR, the cash flow position of a company may be weak. Therefore, this ratio is not a proper or appropriate measure of the capacity of the company to pay interest. So as per this one, we can say that one way to calculate that how much time, but this is not a proper method. So we use another method, that is called debt service coverage ratio, DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. So this ratio removes the weakness of ICR. This shows the cash flow position of the company. So in that some other additional things are also added, like profit after tax. So in this earlier one we were calculating the profit before tax. Here profit after tax means we reduce the total amount of tax, plus depreciation, plus interest, plus non-cash expenses written off. All these things are added together. Then how much amount is there, that we will be calculating. divided by preference dividend plus interest plus repayment obligations. So all these type of things are added. So preference dividend is there, interest is there, and any repayment obligations are there. So all these things will be added together. So when you make a ratio, we can somewhat clear idea we will get. This idea or this ratio is slightly better than the ICR. So ICR, if we calculate, then we know how, we can just calculate how much interest we can pay, but this it does not include all other factors. Okay, so we cannot simply say that this is a better method. This ratio tells us about the cash payments to be made, like a preference dividend, interest, and debt to capital repayment, and the amount of cash available. Better ratio means the better capacity of the company for debt. Consequently, more debt can be utilized in the capital structure. So if the DSCR position, if the company is having better ratio, good ratio is there, then the company can have more amount of debt to capital. Okay. Then one more ratio is there, that is called as a return on investment, ROI. The greater return on investment of a company increases its capacity to utilize more debt to capital. The calculation of return on investment is made with the help of the following formula. Rate of interest is equal to EBIT divided by total investment. So, see, it depends, like imagine that if you are making an investment, how much return we are getting. So if we are depositing 5 crore rupees in a project, how much profit we are getting, how much percentage of that, so like you can say that 20% is there, means that if you are investing 1 crore rupees, you get a 20 lakh rupees return. Do you understand? So it means that 20% of interest ROI is there. Okay, return on investment is there. So if you make an investment, how much return you get on that? That is called the return on investment. The next one is cost of a debt. The capacity of a company to take debts depends on the cost of debt. In case the rate of interest of the debt capital is less, more debt capital can be utilized and vice versa. Okay, so the cost of debt means that for taking a bank loan and other type of things, like interest rates are there. Okay, so in different situations, the companies or the bank and RBI and all decides that this much amount of interest has to be collected. So according to the country's financial situation, the RBI or the government will be deciding that the interest rate will be varying. Okay, so based on that we can say that how much interest we have to pay. So if the interest rates are very much higher, then we cannot take more risk, and if the interest rates are low, then we can so if the interest rate is less, then we can take more loan, and if the interest rate is high, then we cannot take a more loan. So it is just opposite. So if the more interest is there, less. So that is what we are also doing. So like if you are going to take a bank loan, you go to one bank and you say that they are saying that 14% interest is there. If in another bank, if they only 12% is there, then you take interest from, you take loan from the where you get a less interest. So that almost this is the similar one. So if the interest rate is high, less debt will be there. If interest rate is low, then more debt can be used. The next one is the tax rate. The rate of tax affects the cost of debt. If the rate of tax is high, the cost of debt decreases. The reason is the deduction of interest on the debt capital from the profits, considering the part of expenditure, expenses and savings in taxes. See, for example, if a company is getting more, if the tax rate is very much high, then what happens? The company will be, we can use more amount of debt capital. Okay, so it is a directly relation, we can say that. If the tax rate is high, then more this one can be there. So why it is like that? Because already we trading on equity we studied. So in that we studied that if we are using more amount of debt capital, then that much tax less we have to pay. More interest if we are paying, then that much less amount of tax only we have to pay. So if the tax rate is very much high, then if we use more debt capital, that much money will be used for the interest payment, and less money only need to be paid for a tax. And if we are not using debt capital, then we will have to pay more amount of tax. So that will be a loss for the company. Okay, so if the tax rate is high, then we can use more debt to capital, and if the tax rate is low, then we have to use less amount of debt. Did you understand? Okay, opposite it is coming. The next one is called as the cost of equity capital. Cost of equity capital is affected by the use of debt to capital. If the debt to capital is utilized more, it will increase the cost of equity capital. Okay, so equity capital, you know, see, like it means that shares and okay. So if you are, so there are so many costs is there for issuing a share. So it is not easy that you go to the market and ask for shares, then they will give. Not like that. So there are so many documentations required, so much amount of expenditure required, isn't it? So if that cost is more, then we have to take more amount of debt to capital. Taking equity shares, equity capital will be more risky. So if the cost is very much high, then we have to reduce the amount. So in the opposite way, if the cost is less, then we have to take more equity share capital and less of debt to capital. Do you understand? Okay. The next one is called as a flotation cost. Flotation costs are those expenses which are incurred while issuing securities like equity shares, preference shares, debentures, etc. This includes commissions of underwriters, brokerage, stationery expenses, etc. So the flotation cost is that for issuing a shares or issuing the security, there are so much amount of expenditures. Okay, so that expenditures are calculated. So if the flotation cost is high, then we have to take less amount of equity shares. And if the flotation cost is low, then we have to take more amount of equity share capital. The next one is called a risk consideration. Risk. There are two types of risks are there. Operating risk or business risk and financial risk. Operating risk refers to the risk of inability or to discharge the payment of operating costs like rent of the building, payment of salary, insurance installment, etc. Do you understand? So there are two types of costs are there. One is business risk, means that like if you are taking a building, so imagine that you are running a shop on a rented room. Okay, so you have to pay rent to the house owner, you know. So that is a burden that you have to pay. Then there are 3-4 employees are there, you have to pay them salary, you know. So for that you have to take. And if you are taking insurance policy, that premium you have to pay. So such kind of expenditures will be there. So they are called as the operating cost. Or if we are in such a position that, say like if the school is there and if the school is closed for so much time and if the students are not coming, then what happens? The school will not be receiving fees and the school will go to such a situation that they will not be able to pay the salary to the teachers. You see? So if the students are not paying fees, that is the income of the school, and if the students are not paying fees, then the teacher's salary cannot be paid and other expenditures are there. You know, so the school is having so much amount of income, this electricity bill is there, so many other type of expenditures are there. So if the school will come to a position that they will not be able to pay all these type of expenditures. So if that is the risk. So if the company is in such a position, if a company is running and if company is not getting sufficient amount of income which is necessary for the payment of this type of cost, so that is called a business risk, okay, or operating risk. So for running means that the company is unable to run. If a school is in such a position that they are unable to pay the salary to the teachers, only thing is that the school has to be closed. You know, no other way is there. Okay. So and next risk is called as the financial risk. This refers to the risk of inability to pay the fixed financial payments, payment of interest, preference dividend, return on the debt capital as promised by the company. So see, like when you are taking a loan, you have to tell the bank that we will be like a monthly installments we are paying. You know, so like if you take a loan, you say that in 1 month we are paying. Like if you are, imagine that you are taking a car loan. If you are taking 5 lakh rupees car loan, then you will say that in a month you have to pay 10,000 rupees each. You know, so that is the money that we have to pay. So the same way, the bank, when the companies are taking loan, so they will give a promise to the company, like if you are taken 10 crore rupees of loan, then they will say that in a month we will be paying 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees, like that. So in every month we will be paying the amount In that, the principal amount will be there, interest amount also will be there. So we will be paying back this amount. Okay. So this is the burden that the company has to pay. And if the company already has promised that we will be able to pay, but we did, so we are expecting that, say, like if the company is saying that we will be paying 10 lakh rupees, imagine that's like if you are having a loan and you say that you will be paying 10,000 rupees per month when your salary is around 30,000, isn't it? So when you are getting 30,000 income, at least 10,000 if you pay, with 20,000 you can survive, you can live. So other expenses can be maintained. So such a way we will be saying that, isn't it? So if the company is saying that, say, like if the company is able to pay 10 lakh rupees as a interest, it means that the company will be getting an income of 30 lakh minimum, isn't it? So this is not the only expense, the company is having other expenditure also. But if the company is in such a situation that the company is not getting sufficient amount of money, then what will happen? The company will not be able to pay the interest. So that is the financial risk. Do you understand? So building, rent and all other type of things are there, that is afterwards. So first, if the company is not in a position to pay the interest to the this type of, that is a secondary one, we can say. Like first way is like the salary of the employees have to be paid first, then like rent, room rent is there, so that we have to pay, and bank loan and other type of expenditures are there, then that you can even postpone. So we will say that next month we will pay additional money, or one or few months we can postpone it, or things it will go on like that. But afterwards, if for many months if you are unable to pay, then the employees from the bank, they will come and they will ask, start shouting and all these problems will be there. And if in that case also, if the company is unable to pay, then they will take legal formalities. So they will file case against the company, and they will ask for selling the properties of the company and repay the bank loan. So this is the financial risk. So the total risk of the business depends on both these type of risk. If the operating risk in the business is less, the financial risk can be faced, which means that more debt capital can be utilized. So see, like if a company is in such a position that there are like much employees are not there are no building rent, like see, like if we are having building, on building is there, so we don't have a rent building, we have a sufficient less number of salary is to be paid. So it means that operating risk is low. Do you understand? So if operating risk is low, we can take more financial risk. So at that time we can take more debt capital. Do you understand? And if the company is not having on building and many employees are there, so other expenditures are there more. So such a situation is there, then what happens? So like a room rent, anyhow you have to pay. So like if a school is running in a rented room, and if we are running school like that, so if 1 month if we are not paying, then they will say that next month you have to clean. So you have to go out of this one. If you are staying in a rented room, if you are not paying room rent for one month, they will say that next month you have to get out of the room. 1 month rent you might have already deposited. Earlier you are paying in, at least for 3 months rent you are paying in earlier. So they will wait up to that amount. After that, if you are not paying, then they will chase you out. So that is a compulsory payment. So if that position, if that much amount of risk is less, okay, operating risk or business risk is less, then we can take a more loan, because there is no much burden. Even if the company is getting less amount of interest or less amount of earning, then we can pay the interest. Do you understand? And if the operating risk is more or business risk is more, then we cannot take a much risk. So we have to take only less amount of financial risk. So debt to capital will be less. Next we have to study is about the flexibility. According to this principle, capital structure should be fairly flexible. Flexibility means that if needed, amount of capital in the business could be increased or decreased easily. So we have to make a capital structure which is a little easily changeable. Flexible way of this one should be there. So we cannot make a capital structure or in such a way that it should be very much strict, or we cannot change. So sometimes there will be need of more equity share capital. We have to make the change in the structure. So that should be flexible. The next one is control. according to this factor, at the time of preparing capital structure, it should be ensured that the control of the existing shareholders over the affairs of the company is not adversely affected. If funds are raised by issuing equity shares, then the number of companies shareholders will increase, and it directly affects the control of existing shareholders. In other words, now the number of owners controlling the company increases. This situation will not be accepted in the existing shareholders. On the contrary, when funds are raised through debt capital, there is no effect on the control of the company. See, for example, if a company is having 10,000 shareholders are there, okay? So if 10,000 shareholders are there, then the company is having, the control is with this 10,000 shareholders. Do you understand? So who are owners? The equity shareholders are the controlling ones. You know, so they are representatives, or board of directors are there. So these board of directors are controlling the activity. So full shareholders are the one who is controlling the business activity. So if the company wants to additional capital, now 10,000 shareholders are there, and if the company wants to have additional capital, then either company can issue equity shares or debt capital loan they can take. Okay. If they are taking like 2,000 additional shares, if they are issuing, then what happens? The number of shareholders will increase to 12,000. You know, earlier 10,000 was there, now 2,000 more. So total number of shareholders will become 12,000. So it means that the control will be going. Do you understand? More people are there, so when number of people increases, then control is getting reduced. Okay? But if we are taking bank loan, then the control is not going. Equity shareholders will remain 10,000 only. Additional capital can be taken. Do you understand? So then there is no need of lacking any control. So it depends on the company whether they want to have more control or less control. So depending on that, they can decide whether to have equity share capital or debt capital. If the company wants to have more control, then use of debt capital will be better. If the company do not want to have much control, then more amount of equity share capital can be used. So such a way, less amount of debt capital will be used. Okay. The next one is called a regularity framework. Capital structure is also influenced by government regulations. For instance, banking companies can raise funds by issuing share capital alone, not any other kind of security. Similarly, it is compulsory for other companies to maintain a given debt equity ratio while raising funds. Different ideal debt equity ratios such as 2:1, 4:1, 6:1 have been determined for different industries. The public issue of shares and debentures have to be made under SEBI guidelines. So there are so many regulations are there. Okay, so it is not that anyhow as we wish we can start a company or we can run the company and we can issue shares. It is not like that. Okay, so for any banking companies or like already banking companies are there like SBI or like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, like that private banks are there. So these type of companies where they can have fully equity share capital only. Okay, only the shares will be there. So they cannot have other debt fund is not permitted. Okay. Then there are like a debt to equity ratios is there. How much amount of debt should be there? How much amount of equity should be there? Okay. So that ratio is given for different companies, different sectors are there, different type of companies. The different ratios are given like 2:1, 4:1, 6:1, like that. Different ratios are there. So if 2:1 means that total, if the company is having 3 crore rupees of share capital is required, out of that 2 crore should be of equity capital and 1 crore should be of debt capital, like that. So that ratio will be there. So another, for some type of company this ratio is used, some other companies another ratio is used. For different companies different ratios will be used. The next one is called as the stock market conditions. Stock market conditions refers to upward or downward trends in a capital market. Okay, stock market conditions are there. Stock market conditions refers to upward and downward trends in a capital market. Both these conditions have their influence on the selection of sources of finance. When the market is dull, investors are mostly afraid of investing in the share capital due to high risk. On the contrary, when conditions in the capital market is cheerful, they treat investment in the share capital as the best choice of to reap profits. Companies should therefore make selection of capital sources keeping in view of the conditions prevailing in the capital market. Okay, so it depends on the conditions of the capital market. So like as I told you, like bullish and bearish, two type of markets are there. You know, what is the meaning of bullish market? Huh? What do you understand by bullish market means, or a bull symbol is used? Have you seen that? When you take like a market, the share market and all is there, so then they say that a bullish, in that they will show bullish symbol is used, and sometimes bearish. So there are two situations. Bullish means that companies are in profitable situation, so means that the share market prices are increasing. Almost majority of the shares are increasing. Means companies are growing in a higher position. Okay, so means that a favorable condition, good condition is there. But now if you consider, now the share market has gone down. Okay, in one news I found that the GDP rate of India is -7 now. You know, so even see, like it was earlier, it was about not 21, some 12 or something was there up to. So positive side was there. Okay, so but now this went down. So this is that, you know, see, like every business is in loss. So people, even though companies, even in our Haraya market, if you ask to a shopkeeper, they will say that we are in loss. So because of the coronavirus situation, you know, see, like many people started affecting all the, especially in India, we can say 60 to 70% of the people in India is depending on private jobs. Only 20 to 20% of people are having government jobs. No, less than 20%. Okay, so we can say that only these people, those who are having government jobs, are secured. Others are not secured. Some they lost a job, some they are getting half salary, some are getting 25% salary, some are decision pending whether they have to continue in the company or not. So there are so many issues are there. And the business firms also. So business, like if how much amount of sales were there in the last year, especially like Diwali was there. So if you ask to the people, those who are selling, how in the last year how much sale was there, around 60% of that much also is not sold in this Diwali. So Diwali sales also was there. So sales were there, but number of sales were less, amount of sales. Some companies may be higher, good in position, but most of the companies face problems. So this is affecting the GDP also. It will affect the share market also. Do you understand? So every companies are facing a lot amount of struggles. Now the growth, and now people are not ready to invest money into the shares also. Because we don't know what is going to happen in the future. Okay, if a vaccine comes, then there will be a, so when there was a news that the vaccine is to be arrived or vaccine is ready, so after that there was slight amount of increases there. And if the vaccine start distributing all around India or all around the country, then after that there may be a chance, after that there will be slowly increase in the GDP will be there, or in share markets and all, it will be start building up. Okay, but till now there is no any clear news is not there that some news they say that vaccine has arrived in India, already started to distribute, their vaccine is ready. Some companies they say that the vaccine is already ready to produce. Under process means it is in the beginning, like under process means that 1% is started, then also we can say under process, is it? So how much? Some companies they say that it is almost reached 95%, and in 1 month time. Earlier they were saying by December this vaccine will be ready. Now there is no any news. So they will say March, then after that they will postpone it. So if a clear news, and if any company, any newspaper is not giving any, there is a chance like that. So they are not giving any clear idea or clear news is not there. Okay, so there is a chance that by January the vaccine may be coming. They will not say that it will come. It may come, only that much. So that is the situation. And the life of the people are also in question mark. So companies, what we will have to do, whether we have to produce, whether we have to continue, that we don't know. Students are also, like especially students in 12th class, 10th class. They don't know when the exam will be there. Yes, you know. So by this time you are getting prepared for the exams, and you know, see, like now this time you are supposed to be preparing for the Viva and so on. But now you don't know when some like CBSE and other some company, some news agencies, they say that exams will be conducted at the regular time itself. But in some news they are saying that the exams will be postponed. Yes, you know. So any clear news is still not there. So every people are in a confusion stage. So such a situation means that it is not good for it is not favorable for a business. Yes, you know. People are not ready to invest money into the shares. So everywhere there are confusions are there. Yes, you know. If you ask Haria, if you ask anybody, they say that Corona is over. Yes, you know. Nobody is wearing mask or anybody is not much careful. They say that Corona is over. No Corona there. No any problem. Yes, you know. But some people are still affected. We don't know whether it is there or not. Yes, you know. Where it is there or how it will be affected. All these things we don't know. Okay. So such kind of problems will be there. So the share market will not be in a favorable situation, and in such a situation it is not easy to take the or it is not good decision to take a equity share capital. So at that time we will have to take a bank loan only. Okay. Then next one, capital structure of other companies. Another thing. Okay, so these are the main factors related to our company, and the next one is about the other companies. So the companies will be using copying the ideas used by the other companies also. Like a capital structure is influenced by the industry to which the company is related. All companies related to a given industry product almost similar products. Their cost of production are similar. They depend on a identical technology. They have similar profitability. Hence, the pattern of their capital structure is almost similar. Because of this fact, there is a different debt-equity ratios prevalent in different industries. Hence, at the time of raising funds, a company must take into consideration debt-equity ratio prevalent in the related industry. So, see, like if you are going to start a company, so at that time you have to also study about the other companies, those who are using what sort of capital structure the other companies are using. Okay, see, like imagine that you are going to start a shoe manufacturing company. Then you have to also see that what other shoe manufacturing companies are there, how or what sort of capital structure they are using. Because the market is almost similar, you know. So the people, those who are the amount of profit that you are going to get is almost similar to the other companies. So if 10 companies are there, all the companies will have, if a higher demand is there, then all companies will be having higher demand. You know, and if low demand is there, then all the companies in the same industry will have similar changes will be there. Okay, so they have to keep the capital structure of the other company.